Hey everyone, so a couple days ago I had done a post on a floral arrangement and asked you if you'd like to see a tutorial on floral design and arranging some flowers for Valentine's Day. So a lot of times our husbands, boyfriends, significant others will go to the flower shop and buy us a beautiful bunch of flowers. But sometimes you feel like, what am I going to do with these flowers? I don't know how to put them in a vase. So I hope that I can help out in this tutorial in how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is kind of just open up the flowers and start checking them out. Then start going through and pulling the bottom leaves off of all the stems. This is important because you don't want leaves in your water inside the vase because your flowers will go bad quicker because they rot inside of the water. Once all the leaves are off of the bottom of your stems, you can kind of go through and start sorting your flowers by like flowers. So first, of course, you have your greens. And then we have our filler flowers. So daisies, carnations, and like alstroemeria are all kind of considered a filler flower. And then you have like your main flowers, like this one had a snapdragon in it, a rose, hydrangea, and a lily. So these are going to be kind of like your feature flowers because there's usually only one of each of these, and there's usually multiple stems of the filler flowers. So that's how you can kind of know which one is which. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of set the flowers aside in those groupings, and you can pick out your vase. I'm just gonna use a mason jar today, and then fill it a little bit more than half full. And then usually bunches come with like a little bit of floral food, and you can just take this packet and pour it into the water. If you want to, you can save half of it, like maybe you don't put the whole thing in, so that 3 days later you can change the water. A lot of people think that you want to start with your greens, but actually in this situation, and it can be whatever you prefer, but I'm going to show you how to do it with flowers first. It's actually a lot easier to start with the flowers and then add your greens in. And I'm going to fill with the carnations around where the daisies aren't. So again, one kind of higher, one shorter, and one higher in the back. So I'm going to start with my filler flowers first. I'm going to start with the daisies. I'm going to do one kind of higher and then two a little bit shorter. Then I'm going to go for my carnations. Then I'm going to fill with the carnations around where the daisies aren't. So again, one kind of higher, one shorter, and one higher in the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my hydrangea, and I'm going to cut this a little shorter and tuck it right in here down in the front. And I'm making mine front facing just because I feel like it's a little easier for Next, I'm going to take my lily, and this is going to go right in the center because these are going to open up eventually, and it's just nice filler right for the center. Then I'm going to I'm taking my snapdragon, and I'm going to leave him a little longer because he's really good for the back and giving your arrangement some height. So I'm going to put him right there. Now I'm going to use my alstroe, and this I'm going to do one a little taller over here to kind of fill in that space, and one I'm going to do a little shorter right down here. The last flower that you can incorporate is the rose, and of course it's kind of like your main focal point usually. It's the brightest color, and it's also an odd number. So I'm going to put him kind of front and center. So now all of your flowers are in, and now we can kind of move on to the greens and tucking these in around in the sides. One thing with spiral eucalyptus is that you don't want to stick them in. You don't want them like sticking out like bunny ears and being the same height. You kind of want to do one higher and one lower, and then a third one even lower than that in the front. Just gonna do that. Next, we're going to kind of add in the silver dollar eucalyptus, and this can just kind of drape, and it really kind of holds it. It gives it really kind of like a wild, really natural feel. And this is some seeded eucalyptus, and I'm just going to kind of break it apart into smaller chunks and then stick it down in the bottom. So now I'm just gonna kind of assess the arrangement, and right now, like, this is kind of bugging me because it feels like it's kind of wide a little bit. So I'm just gonna go in and maybe cut it shorter and try to retuck it in there. Okay, so here's kind of what I came up with in the finished piece. I just kind of tucked some things in a little more to make them more symmetrical because it was just kind of bothering me. But yeah, just get creative and be confident. And you know, it's kind of all in the eye of the beholder. And if you finish it and you love it, then that's what's most important, because you should be looking at it and it should make you happy. If any of you do an arrangement, get some flowers for Valentine's Day and put them together, you should take a picture of it and tag me in it, and I will feature your arrangements on or after Valentine's Day.